Hi guys, it's Nadine from Voices for Autism. I hope you're doing really well on this sunny afternoon. I just wanted to touch base with you guys, as I'm not sure how many of you follow us on social media platforms. If you do, earlier this week Tegan was involved in an altercation with another student. It was sorted very quickly. I was informed straight away by the teachers. I'm not sure how common this is because Tegan doesn't really get in altercations. He doesn't have fights, blah blah blah. But maybe as a parent governor that helped. But he was fine. We spoke about it when he got home, you know, but it got me thinking about how much bullying goes on in a special school. I think I was quite naive to think that, you know, coming from a mainstream setting where he was bullied quite fiercely to go into a special setting thinking that, oh no, everything's going to be okay. Was I wrong? We later went to a presentation at his school, and Tegan had sat down next to another boy, and the boy was like just telling him to move, clear off, nobody wants you here. And at first I wanted to interject, you know, like, what are you doing? That's my boy. But I assessed the situation. Tegan didn't even react. He did not even react. And the boy just kept saying, go away, go away, go away. And I understand every child in that school is on the spectrum somewhere, okay? And I felt that, you know, this boy was taking liberties basically, and I'm sure that's something that he does on a daily basis with Tegan, you know. So I did interject and I was like, what's the problem? Like, why is he moving? So obviously he didn't realise that mum was sitting there, and he kind of caught himself. He looked quite surprised actually, and I said, you know, is this what happens on a daily basis? And he said, no, 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 it's all right, it's all right, no, no, no. So clearly you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. So I told him, if this happens on a daily basis, it needs to stop now, okay? It needs to stop now. I wasn't threatening in any way, I can assure you, but I was firm. Like, my boy comes here to learn. He doesn't come to get into squabbles and petty arguments and then fist fights. It's not happening. It's not happening. So, you know, I just wanted to highlight that bullying does actually take place in a special setting, you know. And don't get me wrong, Tegan's not always been innocent in all of this. He even had a friend one time, and he was telling them, you know, that their breath smells and you're fat, and laughing at him, and, you know, it's not okay. It is not okay. And we addressed that really quickly. Although Tegan lost that friend, I can only think that because Tegan was bullied in his first secondary school, and that's maybe what people used to say to him, he thought it was okay to say it to this young man, and it wasn't. So we nipped that in the bud. But I mean, how much do our children need to go through before they actually say something? And I feel that Tegan doesn't always say something because it's not always physical, but it's emotional. And as you get older, it's going to play on your mind, you know, I'm not good enough, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, I'm nobody, when actually that's so much rubbish. And we need to kind of instill into our kids that they're unique, they're special, they are amazing. And if you ever feel that, you know, somebody's hurting you, somebody's mistreating you, please tell someone. Even if your child is non-verbal, you know their behaviours. If those behaviours start to change, you know, they start kicking off when they don't want to go to school, or, you know, they flinch when a certain somebody comes around, look into that. Do something. Investigate it. You know, every school, nursery, college, whatever, I'm sure they have bullying policies. Find out exactly where it is, so you can obtain a copy. Okay, so you understand what is put in place in that setting to make sure bullying doesn't take place. Okay, it might start small, calling names, blah blah blah, but we don't know how far it could go, and we don't know what it's doing to our young people's minds. So we need to pay attention now, parents. I understand it might not be easy to talk about. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about it. You know, Tegan he will not always say. In fact, he thought they were his friends when he was being bullied. That's not friendship. That is not friendship. And you have to try and deal with it in the most basic of terms. We speak to Tegan in terms that he would understand, you know, creating social stories that, you know, you can read step by step, and just really explain, you know, what friendships are and what bullying actually is. You know, every year there is an anti-bullying campaign. You know, it might be later on in the year, but use YouTube, use articles from the web that highlight how you can look at bullying and look at solutions and know when is the right time to talk up. And the right time to talk up is as soon as it starts happening, you know. But me myself, I was very, very naive to think that bullying wouldn't take place in a special setting, but it actually does. And we need to be mindful that it actually does. You know, the children are there to be protected, but children can be cruel and they can be mean. And if they're more independent than the next person, who may be non-verbal, or, you know, they're not able to voice how they're feeling, somebody else is going to take liberties with them, and that's what you don't want to happen. So try and have the talk with them as often as possible. Even if bullying isn't happening or you don't know about it, talk about it. There's nothing wrong in talking about it and highlighting the issue and what's right, what's wrong, what's acceptable, what's not, because we do it with Tegan all the time. We have another child, he's 11, we do exactly the same thing for him. It can happen to anybody, even adults going through it in the workplace and so on, you know, it happens. So I just wanted to talk about that today. I hope it's been useful, but yeah, we're going to enjoy the rest of our day. Have a good one, guys. Take care.